poverty. I chose to talk about the topic of poverty because hospitals and treatment cause a lot of stress, like financial stress on families because they cannot pay the bills, and it sometimes causes families to go into poverty. What is poverty? Poverty is when a person or a community does not have the financial resources to meet up to the minimum standard of living. The statistics on average healthcare bills is more money is spent on children under the age of 1 than any other age. 69.3% is spent on newborn care, and children healthcare adds 8.4% more to healthcare bills, and this is about $260 billion more dollars added on children's healthcare every single year. And right here, if you look at this graph, it shows you right here that more is spent on children under the age of 1. And if you see that mostly it's purple, this is stating that most of it is spent on inpatient care. And after the age of 1, it starts to go down tremendously, and there's a big change, and you start to see less purple, and it starts going into more of the red, which is ambulatory care. The statistics on poverty and healthcare are 32% of Americans have healthcare debt, and 28% owe more than $10,000 to healthcare. And then Americans spend about $5,000 out of pocket to pay for medical expenses, which is kind of crazy to think that a bunch of people have to pay this much out of pocket, even if they have insurance or they don't have insurance. Right here in this graph, it shows a study where they asked Americans struggling with medical debt if they knew they had it, and 65% said yes, 3% said no, and 32% said yes. The impacts of poverty. They have poor health and well-being. When going in poverty, most people cannot do expenses such as medical expenses, and it's kind of hard for them to pay for that, so they avoid it to help ease the burden. They have disadvantages in school. They can always do everything like a person that is not in poverty would do, so sometimes they're not the best. They have some big disadvantages in school. Stress of living in poverty, and sometimes they have to stress about things that other people do not have to stress about if they're not in this situation. And they have unhealthy lifestyles because they have to alter some things along the way in their lifestyles that may not always be healthy for them. What did Scottish Rite Hospital do for this? Scottish Rite Hospital knows that sometimes it's hard to pay your bills, and in order to ease this burden, they offered a financial aid called Crayon Care. Crayon Care is essentially that you would apply for this program, and if you got in, they would pay for your hospital bills and help you ease the burden of having to pay medical expenses. In order to qualify for this financial aid, you would have to fill out the application, and some of the factors that they consider are the gross income, the number of household members, and your financial aid family's federal poverty limit. Your federal poverty limit must be over 200%. Scottish Rite Hospital's mission statement is to help the children and basically later on worry about how the bills will be paid for the treatment that they offer the children. They also like to not worry about how much is actually being paid at the moment. They want to make sure that the children is getting the best treatment that they can in order for that the children needs to receive. In conclusion, healthcare causes a lot of stress on people, and sometimes it causes them to go into poverty. Scottish Rite Hospital has helped the situation by offering Crayon Care, which I personally think it's really good that Children's Hospital is offering this program, so families can not worry about the burden of financial expenses for the different treatments their children may need to have. And these are my references that I have used for this presentation, and the end.